What is up, my metal friends? It has been a while since we've gone live on here, so first of all, thank you guys so much for showing up. If you see me looking off to the side, well, it's two reasons. I've got my computer down here, my MacBook here. Nope, and it just came unplugged, so hold please. Little technical difficulties. Forgive the shiny head. Those of you in Florida, you guys know how hot it is. All right, there we go. So yeah, if you see me looking down here, I'm just looking at my computer. This is how I'm chatting with you guys tonight. And of course, I'm going to be eyeballing my beer here too. I'll share this with you in a second here. Sound check real quick. Everything sound okay? Voice here. Guitar too loud. Sometimes if a guitar is too loud, it'll crack, you know. And guys, my good friend, close friend now, Scott Newmeister is on. So dude, thank you for joining, Scott. You guys will see a short clip of Scott and I jamming together at last night's open mic session in Tampa, Florida. Scott says more guitar. You're supposed to say more cowbell, not more guitar. But you guys will see that on my Facebook and Instagram probably tomorrow. And Scott, apologies, I have not gotten around to editing that. I've been out the whole day today filming at Replay Guitar Exchange. That video will be coming out tomorrow. So I've got some gear I'm demoing from there. Actually, a really cool guitar I played, a Charvel I played today. And after that, we had lunch with a good friend of ours. And also scoped out a place downtown Tampa that I might be playing, a new place I might be playing at, live solo gig. So busy day today, and now we're doing this. So real quick, guys, thank you everyone for joining. Just checking to see who all is on here. We've got several folks on. Hey guys, go ahead and throw the thumbs up on this thing if you guys don't mind, if you haven't done that yet. That helps the algorithm, that long word I can't pronounce. The Time Prophet. Yeah, guys, so it's a little, the riff I was playing, it's a little like, kind of Dokken meets Queensryche-ish. I love that style. It just kind of naturally comes out. It's like, it's what I tell you guys all the time. I don't necessarily like to try to play like someone else. I don't try to play like George Lynch. I don't try to mimic what Queensryche has done and all these other great bands that we love so much. I really encourage you guys to really find your own sound, your own style. I tell you this in almost every video, and I think it's so important. I know I sound like a broken record, but guys, the most important thing you can focus on is developing your own style and your own sound. So that's super important as a guitar player. I mean, that's just kind of like a life, a life tip in general. Dave down in South Florida, thanks for joining, dude. Thank you, brother. I know we've been chatting about animals, our love for animals, cats and dogs and such, and turtles too. Shane is here, MILF Hunter is here. Oh, MILF Hunter, I better stay away. I'm kidding. Oh man. Shane says, heard Dokken is putting out a new album. I think Dokken just put something out, guys. I just saw a video on YouTube, and I can't remember the name of the song, but it was on YouTube, and I just came across it, and I don't know if it's like brand new or like, from the prior album. I didn't even look at the dates. But in any case, I liked it. I liked what I heard. It was really cool. The guitar work was great. I love Don Dawkins' voice. Now I know he's had some vocal issues over the years, but he still sounds really. He sounds like Don Dawkins, right? I know he's not hitting the super high notes, and to me, I could care less about super high notes. I mean, I love when singers do that; it's great, and I love the Sebastian Bachs and Dave Coverdale's of the world, and even I'm a big fan of Bon Jovi's voice, and I know he can't quite hit the notes, but these guys are still singing, and I admire that, and I love the evolution of the vocals, like especially with Don Dawkins. Okay, so he's not hitting some of the notes he used to hit, but again, so what? Who cares? He still sounds good. He's got that nice rasp to his voice, a little bit more rasp now, which I kind of like. I like that Bryan Adams meets Richard Marx type of vocals with some more edge, that sort of thing. So I really appreciated the video that I saw. But I want to give you guys some updates here on what's going on. First of all, thank you guys so much for contributing to the post-production for my new album. So I want to give you an update on that real quick. And I'll probably go back over this stuff later in the video here too. And of course, I'm on here to answer questions or whatever, just to hang out with you guys and chat, if nothing else, But the album is going great. So I had to make a decision this week. I started recording vocals, and it just wasn't working in my studio here. This is a small 10 by 11 room, and it really has nothing to do with the sound or anything like that. It's more to do with me. I'm trying to record vocals at the same time as manning the DAW, right? As being kind of like the engineer and recording. So I record a take, and I had to go here, stop the track, go back, and all that. Just wasn't working for me, guys. I was getting very frustrated, and I'm like, there's a better way to do this. So I talked to Cliff, Riff with Cliff. You guys know him from my channel. He's the guy that's on. Really, he's on all the Replay Guitar Exchange videos I put out there on my channel, and I'm helping them with some videos too. But he told me that I could come to his studio. He invited me over to come to his studio Monday. So this Monday, I'm going to go over there. He's going to man the process, and I'm just going to record vocals there, and that's going to be what we do. Time Prophet says I need dampening. Yeah, I mean, I've got some treatment in here, but it really has nothing to do with the dampening of the sound. It's more so because I'm here. I wasn't singing through a condenser mic. I was singing through a dynamic. So I know that's not ideal for recording vocals, but in any case, that's what I was doing here. And it worked great for Masterpiece, the Masterpiece album. I recorded that with the Shure SM7B microphone right here in this not perfect room. So, and those vocals were just fine. It worked out just fine. But I'm just running into some issues with this album. The vocals are a bit different on this album. I'm doing more singing and not near as much like death metal vocals. There are a few parts in there. And there is one song that's kind of dark and death metal-y. But that one's going to be towards the end of the album. I know some of you like that sort of thing. Some don't. I kind of go back and forth. I love the cleaner vocals. My voice kind of has like that natural rasp to it, but I love some of the death metal too in certain circumstances, in certain scenarios with my music. So in any case, I don't want to give too much away on the album. I want you guys to like it. But the album is themed, as you guys know. The album name is Overcometh, and I've been talking about this for over 2 years now. I've had the drums recorded for over 2 years now. Cameron Fleury, the awesome metal drummer out of Canada, he did the drums for this album. One thing I'll mention to you guys, I was going to have it professionally mixed by Nick Z. I decided for a couple of reasons to do the mixing myself. Now Nick Z, he's a engineer and producer out of New York City. He mixes and masters albums for a living. That's what he does. I don't know if you guys know him or have heard of him, but he does this for a living. Like, bands go to him consistently and often pay him to do the work because he's really good at it. So he will be mastering my album. I've already talked to him about it. And two reasons I chose him. One, because he just does great work, but two, because he's actually part of Metal Mastermind. He's got a course on our platform called Metal Producer Overlord. So I'll be going through his course and taking some tips, and I'll probably schedule some meetings with him so he can listen to the mixes and just give me some feedback. and I'll be getting some feedback from some other, people that I know in the music industry, like people like Ed Aborn with Siren. He has a really keen ear to mixing. I mean, he mixed the Siren album, their latest album, Mercenary's Fate. He mixed the original mix, and then they went to Moore Sound Studio to get the final mix and mastering done. But I thought Ed's mix, I mean, if they would have just stuck with his mix, I mean, Moore sounds awesome, they're great, but if they would have stuck with just Ed's original mix, the Siren album to me would have been just as good. Ed has a keen ear for that. So I'm going to get feedback from him, and of course, my good friend Riff with Cliff, because he's been in the industry with Quasi Mojo for quite some time. And I'm going to see if if the guys from Must Not Kill, because you guys know I had Brad Mader on here. I'm going to get him to listen in just to give me some feedback, some honest feedback from. I don't want to get too much feedback, but I want to get feedback from people who are actually active in the industry. And all three of the people I mentioned just now are very active. They're out there doing this stuff. So anyway, yeah, all vocals will hopefully be recorded in Monday's session. I'm a bit nervous about that, but I'm also very relieved that I can just sit in the studio, look pretty, and sing. I don't have to worry about managing the DAW and I got to go back and click and clear, click here, click there. So I'm very excited about that. But guys, if you have any questions for me too, I'm going to jam some more for you, of course. But I want to give you that update real quick. The lead guitar tracks are done. The rhythms are done. Everything's done. I'm going to be touching up the bass guitar tracks on the album. And I've got something coming that I can't really talk about quite yet. I've got another deal, another endorsement coming up. So I really cannot, I can't share that with you. I'm sorry, guys. But I'll have a major unboxing coming up here pretty soon whenever this thing gets to my doorstep. Scott asked what platform will the albums be on for sale. So number one, the album will be on all major streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. I don't even know all the platforms out there. So I released through a company called CD Baby, and you pay them, and of course they take a small percentage of your streaming revenue, but it's an easier way to do it, and they put it out there to everybody. Now I will also have CDs available for this album as well. Just like I did with the Masterpiece album. So I don't know about vinyl. I mean, if there's like a demand for vinyl, I might, consider that. But it's got to be a big one, because I don't want to go spend a bunch of money on, 50 vinyl records or whatever. And you got to buy the stuff in bulk to get the deal anyway. If you only buy a few, you're going to pay a lot of money. And then that means I have to charge more, blah, blah, blah. So it's just not really, doesn't really make a lot of sense. So if there's enough demand for vinyl, then that's something we'll talk about, But Time Prophet says he knew people who had bad experience with CD Baby. All my stuff's been released through CD Baby. This will be my 5th album, so I've never had any issues with them, man. I mean, I get paid on time or whatever, so and I don't dig too deep into the analytics. I mean, I'm not a big shot, so it's not like I'm making millions or even thousands a month off my albums. I mean, we're in the hundreds, we're not quite there. So I haven't, but I haven't had any bad experience with them, and I guess I just know the process, so it's easy for me. But yeah, it'll be available on all major platforms, and I'll have CDs on my shop. I'm about to revamp my entire online shop. I might go back to using a platform called Shopify. I'll go into some of the stuff, guys. Like some of you guys are interested in releasing your own music, so I will, if you guys want me to do some videos on that type of stuff, on when you're at that level to release music and record and all that stuff, then yeah, I will. I'll probably put that on the Metal Mastermind channel though. Alex says he's commented on a few of the videos, and I thank you every time for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that, dude. I really do, man. I was talking to a friend today. We're having dinner, kind of a lunch/dinner, a buffet, which is why I'm so full right now. Oh my God! And I'm about to settle the tummy with some beer here. But anyway, we're talking. We're talking about. Now I just got completely off track. We're just talking about gratitude and that sort of thing, how grateful we are to be doing what we're doing. He's got something going on the side too. But I will be revamping my entire shop here pretty soon, guys. I've got some other merch that I want to put out there. So, Ponyboy asks if I think Guitar Pro is worth it, and what pedal do you recommend for a program like that? Guitar Pro is the notation software, right? Um, if that's what I'm, yeah. So I think that's the notation software that you're talking about. You don't really need a pedal. I mean, you're not really using anything with it. That's just for, and there's probably some other features I don't know about, but the Guitar Pro is really just for notation. I use it to give you guys tabs. So that's all I use it for. I don't use it for anything else, man. I know they've got the guitar sound that you can program in there or whatever, but I just use it for tabs for notation. So that's about all I know about it, to be honest with you. Steve says, love the vids. Wish I can stay. He's at work. Oh, well, Steve, thanks for hopping on, man. Hey, just tell your boss at work I'm watching Jason Stallworth, hanging out with him on YouTube. So take this job and shove it. No, don't tell your boss that. That's not good advice. Oh man, cool. Yeah, the Guitar Pro is a great software. Again, and I've got someone in mind for this already. I'm just waiting to hear back from her, but I am considering what I'm doing. You guys know I'm on Patreon as well. So what I do now is on at least 2 videos. I promise 2 videos a month, my lesson videos on YouTube, that I'll give you the backing tracks and the notation, the tabs, and the Guitar Profile for those who use it. For those YouTube videos on my Patreon account. I think the Patreon's only like $4.95 a month. I haven't increased the price. I don't plan to. I'll just leave it at where it is. It's it's cheap and easy to to be a part of something and get the tabs and backing tracks for my videos. But I'm wanting to up the amount of videos that I do for lessons. I'm not going to promise anything yet because I don't want to put myself in that position because it's a lot of work to to do the videos. And then also have to make a backing track and then the tabs and all that. So I promised 2 a month, but I'm looking at doing more than that. So I'll probably just keep the promise at 2 and just, under promise, over deliver type thing. But I am, on that note, I am looking for someone. I've got someone in mind, but I'm looking for someone to actually handle that part. I want to outsource that to someone to handle the tabs, the notation. Because I don't really like doing that. So, and I'm not that good at it. It takes me like an hour to tab the thing out because you got to know a little bit of theory and tempo and that sort of thing to do that. So, not necessarily theory, but you got to know how the tempos work and all. And sometimes when I've got a note here instead of here, I can't quite get it right in the tab software. I'm like, ugh. So anyway, so I'm looking to outsource that at some point. So if anybody's interested in doing that, it would be a paid contract position. I mean, it's not, I can't, throw a lot of money at this, obviously, but anyway, have somebody in mind. But if anybody else, if this person doesn't want to do it, I definitely want to have a backup. So Shane, he's got a gig this weekend after next, just covers, but glad to perform. Shane, I am glad you're performing. I'm so happy to hear that. One video I'm making for you guys, and it'll be available the first week of September. I have been recording just a little bit. It won't be a super long video, but I've been recording just a tad bit of every gig that I've had in August, the month of August. 2 of those paid gigs are me hosting open mic at Bootleggers, which I don't know if Scott's still on, but you'll see him and I playing a song together. He played my telly, I played acoustic and sang. We did a pretty good job, I think, for the first time on the song. But we played a cover of Talking in Your Sleep. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of share what it's like to be gigging. And I'm not gigging every single night. I'm probably gigging on average 2 nights a week. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4, But of course, Scott, you probably don't mind being in the video. I was going to post just a short clip of that in this long video. But yeah, I'm making that for you guys to watch. Because no matter, guys, no matter what style you play, some people are like, I just want to play metal and that's it, and that's fine. But I encourage you to go to an open mic, even if you don't want to sing. You don't really have to sing if you don't want. But I encourage you to do that too. Why not? But I encourage everybody, even if you consider yourself just a bedroom guitar player, get out there, go to an open mic. One, you're going to meet some other musicians there, and the second thing, guys, playing live in front of people, it builds a completely different skill. And I don't care how good you get at guitar. I don't care how great of a singer you are, how great of a whatever you are. None of that matters too much if you can't pull it off live. Again, different skill set. Once you get up there in front of people, so I'm kind of pushing you guys to do this a little bit. I mean, I've got a complete guide. It's free. It's on my YouTube channel. You go to my YouTube channel, well, you're on it right now, after this live. Just remember to look up how to get started playing live solo gigs. Just type that in, how to get started playing live solo gigs. It's about a 38-minute video, and I cover every detail of how to get started. So I just want to encourage you guys to do that. Get up there and play in front of people. Every town, every city has some sort of open mic. I'm very fortunate to live in the Tampa area. We have a lot of them. So Time Prophet said, when's the world tour start? I am, and you mentioned the metal band Siren here. Siren's not playing anywhere right now, but they want to do some gigs. I'll tell you guys, and I've been listening to a lot of other bands, both local and some, other bigger bands, and like Must Not Kill, they're on tour right now. I sort of know the people in Seven Kingdoms. I've met them once there, but touring actually costs a lot of money, guys. It's not one of those things you can just say, I'm going to go do a tour. Well, you better be prepared to have some cash if nobody's backing you up. So I do plan on doing that. I'm a big fan of we'll make it happen. We'll find a way, or we won't find a way. You guys know I say this all the time. Don't find a way, you create a way. But I want, everybody to be aware that, there are challenges with that. It's not like, I guess, the old days where I want a label, so I'm going to go tour. And I'm independent. I'm not on a label, so everything would come out of my pocket. But touring is expensive. So I do plan to play some local shows with a new album. The plan is, and again, I'm a solo guy, so the plan is to maybe hire somebody like Eddie Bourne or maybe one of the local drummers. I might work with a drummer for Must Not Kill. He may be up for it. I'll need a bass player and a rhythm guitar player to pull off my music. I could do it with just a drummer and bass player, and me just play the rhythms, leads, and sing, but it would probably it'd sound a little bit better with a rhythm guitar player as well. So, I do plan to play some shows. I'd like to do that, and I would like to play with Siren. I'd like to open for them or play the same, whatever. So, maybe Must Not Kill, maybe Quasimojo, whatever. So, we're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure out again. I work for myself, and I'm an entrepreneur, and the true spirit of being on your own is the answer's never no. It's just that we'll find them. We'll create a way. We'll make it happen, and we'll do that. So, Time Prophet says, can't play live, can't sing and play. You just turn to jelly. Well, you can. You just got to do it, man. You got to have a little bit of self-belief, which is something I struggle with throughout my whole life, and I'm still do today. And if I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I get a little nervous every time I go on stage, even playing cover songs. I'm up there for 3 and 4 hours at a time playing covers, but I get a little nervous. I get a little, what do you call it? The imposter syndrome sometimes. I get that when I do YouTube videos, guys. Again, just being open with you guys, I might not come off as I struggle with that, but I do at times. I get better at it, you know what I mean? But there are some times when I'll go to a live show, a live solo gig, and I'll look around the room and I immediately get this thing in my head saying, oh, they're probably not going to like what you're doing. And I'm like, where the hell is this voice coming from, man? So I had to just kind of kick that voice out of my head, those little devils. So, and I think it's a natural thing to have, a lot of actors and singers and such will say, well, I'm really an introvert, but when I get on stage, it changes, things change. I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. I love chatting with people. So you'd think it'd be easier for me, but it's actually not. It's a little, but I think being a little nervous shows that you care. You shouldn't be anxious, but I think it's okay to be a little nervous, right? So there's a difference there. And it's just, honestly, guys, it's up here in the head. It's just managing it up here in the head. If you practice, you know your lines, right? You know your role. You know what you're supposed to do up there. And I do a lot of freestyle type stuff too. Blasphemous said he was going to ask about getting over stage fright. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, I wish I could give you an easy answer or like a 3-step formula, but it just really doesn't exist. I know there's videos out there, well, do these things and you'll get over it. Again, it's you got to manage up here, which really is what my album is all about. Overcometh. It's about overcoming circumstances, right? Not even anything specific, but really is about overcoming yourself. The first person you have to overcome is yourself. We will stand in our own way. Alex said, agreed, started gigging with a band a few months ago, completely different. Yeah, and Alex, I love to hear that, man. I'm glad you're gigging. Gigging's great. Gigging and playing live, whether you're solo, whether you're with a band, and you build a different skill, guys. You build a completely different skill. Again, I had fun jamming with Scott last night. That's what, again, open mics, I encourage everybody to go to open mic, man. Just go hang out the first time. Just talk to the musicians there. And then the second time you go play, okay? Scope it out and play. And if you don't care for the one open mic, we'll go to another one. You know what I mean? But typically at open mics, you're just going to find cool people that want to hang out. They're not judgmental. You know, we've got some great singers and guitar players that just come to want to hang out and play. Sometimes people like me, I'll go to an open mic just to play my original music sometimes, just to kind of like, well, let me just play this, get used to playing my own stuff. And I play originals at my live solo gigs, which are mainly covers. I'll throw some out. But again, sometimes I get that thing in my head. It's like, well, don't play an original because nobody knows it. They're not going to like it, And I had to kick that thing out of my head. It's a constant battle, But last night, I think I played 3 or 4 original songs. Some of the songs I hadn't played in a long time, which you could tell because I was screwing up on my own music. But like Scott told me, it's like the thing is when it's your own song. I think Scott told me, maybe it was Mark that told me this. When it's your own song, nobody knows you screwed it up because you wrote it and they've never heard it before. So, Time Prophet says my wife could play the drums. She could. That would be kind of cool. Oh man, yeah, Alex, you just got to go for it. Alex says you just got to go for it. JD Tolliver said just met a guy at your new job. He's a bass player. Asked him who his favorite player is. He likes Cliff Burton and Steve Harris. I'm like, we're gonna get along just great. Yeah, and that's what's cool when you meet other musicians and you find that common ground, yes, and common interest, and you can make some things work. M Tate on a tangent. Appreciate the way you show people how to play something, and then you don't have to play it note for note. Yeah, you're right. You're right, M. Tate. When I show you guys my riffs, by the way, every time I put up a lesson on YouTube, it is stuff that I just came out, that day for the video, for the lesson there. And that's why I don't tell you, we got to learn this note for note. You don't. I mean, learn the concept, you know what I mean? Learn the concepts of what we're doing. And then I want you to run with it after that. The Gospel Mark, what's up, brother? Good to see you on here. And Gospel Mark, you've been playing in a duo for quite some time. We've been talking about that. But you've got your first solo gig coming up. That's awesome. End of October. That's great, dude. The acoustic duo is fun, too. I would like to do that with someone around here. I've just had a very busy schedule with my own solo gigs and then this album. Vince, what's up, man? And I got to meet Vince, dude. Thank you again for coming out. Vince on there, VJD2. He came out to the Blind Goat in South Tampa. I think it was about a month ago. And it was so cool to meet you, man. Very driven, in what you're doing and what you're pursuing. So I admire that. But yeah, I love it when if you guys are in the Tampa area and you show up at a gig or one of the open mics I'm hosting, man, hey, come up, let's chat, let's have a beer. We hung out with Vince, my wife and I hung out with Vince at the Blind Goat for at least an hour or so, man. After that, just had a good time chatting, and that's what life's all about, man. Meeting cool people and like-minded folks, Hayes asked how the LP is coming. It's a full album. It's going to be LP. So it's going to be. I'm hoping to release it in October. Well, I have to release it in October. That's the goal. So I'll give you guys a quick update here. Again, so I'm recording the vocal tracks. I was supposed to have the vocals done this week. I was having some trouble recording it here, just doing everything myself. You know, I'm recording vocals and had to go back to the studio, and I'm going to crack them with my brewski here. And it just, I was getting in my own way. So I am going to another studio on Monday. And that day I plan to knock out all the vocals. As soon as I do that and a few other touch-up things, I'll be mixing the record next week. So that's the plan, and I should be able to have it in the hands of the mastering engineer, Nick Z, no later than the end of the first week of September. And I'm going to be releasing this thing very quickly. Also, I have my photo shoot. And again, guys, thank you so much for contributing. Some of you contributed large sums of donations to my GoFundMe for the post-production. So I appreciate that. I'm actually bringing that down. I mean, if you guys want to contribute to that, that's great. It's still out there. If you go to the YouTube, what is it called? The YouTube community post. I've got the link in there, but I'm going to take the link out tomorrow. I've got what I need at this point. Anything beyond that will just go into the promotions and marketing, and I'd like to do a music video. So, you know, but it's still out there as of now if you guys want to contribute to that. Or you can also contribute by just buying my guitar courses, guys. You guys know I have, if you go to metalmastermind.com and go to courses, you'll see my guitar courses, Metal Riff Master, Metal Guitar Apprentice, or you can check the description of any of my YouTube videos here. I've got links to that, so that always helps as well. That's kind of how I make my living between my guitar courses, Metal Mastermind, YouTube, playing live shows, playing live gigs. I do some affiliate marketing. I've got a few endorsements now with Blackstar and with Electro Voice. So yeah, out there doing it. So the beer, guys, I must share with you. This is the Erdinger beer. It's their Oktoberfest. Is it Erdinger or Erdinger? Is it one Erdinger or is it two Erdinger? If my German friends are out there, please let me know. Speaking of Germany, guys, if anybody's from Germany, especially the Munich area, raise your hand. Or, well, I won't see your hand, but just, you know, put it in the comments. Because my wife and I will be there. I believe it's November 8th. We're going to be in Germany. We're going to Thailand for most of the month of November. We've been planning this trip for a few years now. Which is a big reason why my album will be released in October, because it's got to be out there in your hands before we go on this trip. But yeah, we've got a 10-hour layover in Germany, and we're right there close to Munich. So, okay, Scott told me what I needed to know. So it's Erdinger, perfect. Yeah, Neumeister gives you a little German cred there, dude. Thank you. So, JD is drinking the New Glarus IPA. I love some IPAs, man. That's my favorite type of beer. It really is. The Damned Yanked is on. Thank you, Scrambles. Appreciate that. Scrambles just got the Boss RC20XL loop station. It's so great for recording a rhythm track and practicing soloing over. Yeah, I don't use loopers for that. I use them for being on stage. I'll loop a rhythm and play some solos over it. That's how I do my solo shows. But in any case, looping's great. It's great for that purpose, Scrambles, to practice with, because you've got your rhythm that you created, right? And now you're jamming along with yourself. So that's a really cool way to drink. I like the Dunkels. Alex, the Dunkels are very good beers. Yep, again, the Erdinger Oktoberfest. Good stuff. And some just splashed up my nose here. I'm not sure how that happened, but sometimes weird things happen. Gospel Mark. Yeah, so Thailand. My wife and I, yes, we will be doing a lot of videos. Now, I'm not going to be neglecting my YouTube channel here, guys. I'm not going to be neglecting you guys. I will have some pre-made videos that I'll have scheduled throughout, especially my lessons. I'll pre-shoot all my lessons here for the month of November that I'm going to put out there. And those will be scheduled for the normal schedule that I've been putting them. I'm trying to give you guys videos every Saturday for lessons. I got another one coming up this Saturday. But I'm also going to be filming some guitar stuff for you in Thailand. So we're going to visit some guitar stores in Thailand together, guys. That's going to be real cool. So you'll see some of that. Also, I'm also going to be filming, quite a bit for my wife and I's channel too. So, all right, so looks like we got to block somebody here, guys. Inappropriate comments that I certainly don't appreciate, and my wife won't appreciate that. So, yep, see you. Whoever the real American patriots are, just left a really inappropriate message, guys. And I don't have to tell you guys this, but that kind of stuff doesn't fly with me, man. Not at all. So, out you go. I don't know if you guys saw his comment, but it's not worth reading out loud again. So anyway, but yeah, Gospel Mark, thank you so much for watching my wife and I's videos, man. I love filming those and editing those videos probably almost more than I do my videos here. And I enjoy what I do here. Don't get me wrong. I love filming for you guys too. But when we do stuff and I film that and I go back to the editing process, it's like, man, I'm reliving that moment. So it's a lot of fun. And we are really planning to ramp up our channel. We just did our 15th anniversary, which I know Gospel Mark, you saw that. Yeah, Gospel Mark, yeah, you saw the comment too. Yeah, we're not going to listen to any losers, man. And I appreciate all you guys watching right now. By the way, if you haven't given this a thumbs up, please do that. If you haven't done that yet, YouTube likes it, and I appreciate it too. But yeah, I'm very extremely grateful for you guys for the folks I have on here on my YouTube channel. Rarely do I get any garbage, Every now and then somebody will come on like this person here, and it really only happens during live when I haven't gone live in a while. But anytime I've gotten a really derogatory comment from someone, it's been on a live, and I guess it's just people with nothing better to do but to say something nasty or whatever. So, and if this person comes back, I think I just put them in timeout. If they come back, I will just ban them because my wife was brought up in that comment, and that's not something you do, guys. I'm glad that person's not in here in person with me right now. Let's just put it that way. I'm not a tough guy, but I don't. If someone says something derogatory about my wife, I will not stand for that bullshit at all. And neither will you guys. And that's what we expect from one another. So anyway, enough of that. Yeah, Time Prophet, just kick him into space, So I do have a video coming out tomorrow. I've got a lesson coming out on Saturday. That's going to be a cool lesson for you guys. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll have the tabs and backing tracks. But I went to Replay Guitar Exchange today to film. And you might have saw my YouTube shorts. I've been trying to do more YouTube shorts, when that came on the scene. So I'm like, I better jump on this. So I was playing through the Blackstar Amped 2. I have the Amped 3. I got that through a sponsorship deal with Blackstar. But I played through their Amped 2 today. So that's coming out tomorrow. Very interesting. I don't want to say it's completely different from the Amp 3, but different features. So it's pretty cool. Silent Lamb was up. So the Black Star 2 is your favorite. You've had 2 of them. Cool. So yeah, I'll have the Black Star 2. I'll have that coming out tomorrow. That's gonna be nice. I've got something else potentially coming from Black Star. I can't tell you what it is because I don't. I want to make sure it's actually going to happen before I say anything. But I can almost tell you to be ready for a very special live unboxing of this cool thing that I'm going to be getting. Oh man, so I can't wait to share that with you guys. But yeah, quick album update again, guys. I'll be recording the vocal tracks at Cliff's studio, Riff with Cliff, at his studio on Monday. Hope to knock everything out there. Yeah, wife says, shh, don't tell anybody. And then Wednesday I've got a photo shoot, which that's part of what you guys covered with my campaign that I ran here. So and I think Bernie Photography, he's going to be doing the photo shoot as well as probably the artwork, because he's a good friend of mine that I worked with when I worked in corporate America. I used to work at a company called Citigroup. I was in the risk and control and corporate applications. I could go on. It gets kind of boring, but but I met a lot of good people there. And him and I stayed in touch. And when he left the company before I did to launch his own photography business, and he's done well. And then here I go, launching on my own a few years after that. So Scrambles. So Scramble does a lot of live streams. Now and then someone will say something negative. My mods take care of them, and on my guitar shorts, I get a handful of negative comments. So I usually pin them in shame. Yeah, dude. That, guys, here's the thing about negative comments. When people have something negative to say about you, it's usually their opinion about themselves. And, that can be tough to live with if you have a low opinion about yourself, right? If you choose to have that, because that's a choice. So it's easier to just put it out there and put it on someone else, right? These types of people, they don't want to see other people doing well because they're not doing well, or they're not doing what they need to do in order to do well. The thing about life, it doesn't really stay stagnant, guys. You're either moving forward or you're digressing, right? You're moving backwards, because if you're not moving forward, you're not doing anything. Well, you should be at a certain level a week from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. If you're not moving towards that, you're actually digressing. So the people that choose to stay in that state of just I don't know, I don't even know what to call it. It's pathetic, really. With people that put out the negative stuff, it's usually, just know that it's usually their opinion about themselves, and you can feel sorry for them, if anything. That's why I don't really get mad at people. Now, this person that came on earlier said something kind of derogatory, and it had my wife in there as well. So that's going to a different level, and that's just something I absolutely won't tolerate at all. But anyway, enough of that. But you ignore it and move on. You don't dwell on it, because then if you dwell on it, then you're living in that moment, and you're letting that moment get the best of you, that person get the best of you, and it's just not worth it. Ponyboy says, thanks for everything. Sub a few months. Thanks for the sub, dude. Been learning a lot. Awesome. That's good to hear, man. That tells me I'm doing what I need to be doing with my life. If you guys are benefiting from it, so I do appreciate that. Yep. Time Prophet just recorded a new riff on SoundCloud. Cool, man. Frank Cooper, 60 years old, just starting out. Dude, I love to hear that. I was talking, the good friend my wife and I had a late lunch with, early dinner, however you want to call it. He is, I believe, 61 or 62. And we're talking about, I was telling him about, I get people on the channel here, 60s and 70s, that just started playing from one of the videos that I put out. And I think it's great, man. I mean, you mentioned it occupies your mind. Dude, Frank, you'll stay sharp. I'm a little bit behind you. I'm 48, but I know people in their 30s that they just don't keep up their mind. And I think guitar playing is a great way to do that. It's a great way to stimulate the noggin here and keep things moving. So that's really cool to hear that, man. And thanks for being a part of the channel here. Scramble said you used to have low self-esteem, but you've grown stronger from the struggle. Lost your wife in 2017. Really sorry to hear that, man. That's a tough one. I don't know what I'd do if that happened to me. My wife and I said we're going at the same time, and I don't mean that in a joking way. It's I don't know what I would do if that happened, man. So my heart goes out to you. Alan says, what do you want to do with your life? I want to rock. That's exactly what we want to do with our life, guys. That's what we are doing. Yep. Major Upgrade, what's up, man? Iowalks, do you like Tentonation? Iowalks, I have no idea what that is, dude. XXX, Tento, whatever that is. I have no clue. Never heard of that before. Yeah, Major Upgrade, you've got a good point there. Your therapy, you don't have to pay for it. You pay for it one time. You just buy the guitar once. You don't have to keep paying for it after that. That was great, man. Yeah, scrambles. I can imagine the music helps you heal. You know, it's we stay focused on I believe, guys, if you're still on this earth, I strongly believe this, then you have a responsibility, to yourself, but I also think to a higher being, to a higher power, to do the thing that you're supposed to do while you're here, or the many things you're supposed to do, to be the type of person you're supposed to be. That's what we're put on this earth for. So, I told a friend of this who was going through a hard time a couple years ago. It's like, hey, you're still here, so you still have a purpose, and you've got to move. You got to move in that direction to fulfill that purpose. Gospel Mark has been watching the gig tips videos. Yeah, I need to put some more videos out on that, Mark, because I was excuse me. I get my studio. It gets real dusty up here, so it messes with my throat sometimes. Probably another reason I don't sing up here that often. But I was going to. I thought about starting another. I'm glad I didn't do this, man. But I was going to start a new channel altogether just for live solo gig tips. But I got to thinking, it's like, my channel, because my channel is based on metal guitar, and I know not everyone who watches my channel for the metal guitar stuff is interested in playing live solo gigs. And not everybody who comes to my channel from my live solo gig videos, because I got quite a few out there now, and I got a lot of people commenting on those. Well, those people aren't necessarily interested in metal guitar. So I was like, well, do I need to segregate this? But, my channel, my YouTube channel here is not called Metal Guitar. It's just me. It's Jason Stallworth. So that kind of like put things into perspective for me. It's like, maybe there's not a need to start a new channel, because this is what you do. Playing live solo gigs is a part of my life. And as soon as I'm done with this album, I got two projects I want to start. I'm not going to start them at the same time. I've done that before. That doesn't work. You chase two rabbits, you don't catch any. But after this album's release, I'm probably going to hit the ground running. When we get back from Thailand in December, I'm going to hit the ground running on an acoustic album, guys. I'll probably have some electric stuff in there, but it's not going to be metal. I mean, there will be some kind of, excuse me, there'll be some kind of like hints of metal in there, because that's just how I play. Even playing acoustic, people can tell, like, oh, this guy, he probably plays metal too. But it's just me. It's just my playing, and I say that about myself to say this about you. Be your own musician, be your own guitar player. Don't let anyone ever tell you that, well, just because you're playing metal over here, that you can't do this over here, that you can't do both. I remember in high school, and maybe it's still like this, maybe not, I don't know, but I remember some of the metalheads would call you a poser if you listened to something outside of what they felt like was real metal. And it's like, well, I guess I'm a poser then, because I liked hair metal. I liked Slayer, but I also liked Bon Jovi. I also like I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany. Hey, I like the song. I actually cover it sometimes. So, you know what I mean? I like Prince. I like Madonna. I liked all the 80s stuff, man. The Pet Shop Boys, Depeche Mode. But then I can go back and go listen to Arch Enemy and Amon Amarth and all those bands too. Nightwish, I'm a big Nightwish fan. So, I say that to just say, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something just because, it doesn't fit their thought, But yeah, so I just kept it everything on this channel here. Because I love acoustic guitar, man. I love playing acoustic as much as I love playing electric. Like, you could take all my electric guitar stuff away, the amp and all that, and I'd be sad. But if you said, okay, well, you can play acoustic, well, I'd be happy with that, The thing I love about acoustic, too, is you can play it anywhere. Like, if you want to go play a show, if I want to go play a show right now with my music, my metal music that I've written, I've got to get a full band to go do that. I have played a couple shows when I released Masterpiece in 2019. A couple shows in 2019. 2019. I played a couple shows to backing tracks. I muted the vocals and the lead guitar parts, and I sang and played over backing tracks, and I got a good response out of that, but I didn't really enjoy it, to be honest with you. It just wasn't. If I'm going to play metal, I want to play with a real band. But my point is, if I want to go play a show right now, I've got to go get some musicians to do that. And that'd be fun. And we're going to do that with a new album. But With an acoustic, I can go play a show anywhere, guys. I can go play a show anywhere. In fact, this album that's coming out, Overcometh, it'll be coming out in October. I've already started working on playing some of those songs. I think every song I've got, except for one, I can do an acoustic version of. And it just kind of organically happened that way. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. This is working. So if I want to do an unplugged version of this album, or at least half of it, I can go do that. So, yeah, I mean, but I was going to do a new channel on live solo gigs. I'm glad I didn't, but I do want to put some more tips. Those videos don't get a lot of views, and it's kind of when you work so hard on a video, you know, it's kind of disheartening when it doesn't get, you know, the attention it deserves. But what I've found is some of those videos will get attention later down the road, like my complete guide for getting started playing live solo gigs. That didn't get a ton of attention right away, but now I look at it and it's got many thousands of views on it. So I'm really happy that that's helping people, and I'm getting comments at least on a weekly basis. So sorry if I'm rambling, guys, but hopefully the stuff makes sense. Time Prophet, yeah, metal has a wide range. You can go from soft to heavy. And yeah, the gigs are applicable too, man, because I'm always breaking out the telly. I've really gotten to know that Telecaster quite well. Before that, I'm like, why? I'm not going to get a telly. Why do I need a telly? And then my friend talked me into buying it from him. I'm like, I love this guitar now. Scrambles, it's good to just be yourself and post what interests you. Yeah, it is, man. So Scramble started a YouTube video with a cat video, and then game content, and then started doing some music related content. That's cool, man. Yeah, that's cool. People embrace it. You know, as far as YouTube goes, like if your channel, you do have to have some sort of a niche, you know. And mine's been metal guitar, but acoustic and the live solo gigs, that's still guitar based. Now, I also have a workout channel called the Muscle Program, which I haven't done anything with. It kind of goes back to chasing two rabbits, you won't catch any. So I kind of put that on hold. I still send emails to my subscribers for themuscleprogram.com. And I thought about integrating workout videos in this channel. I'm like, that's probably not something I'll do. I might share a tip here and there, but you do want to be kind of careful that you capture the interest of the people that that you started the channel for, right? Because we're trying to reach a certain audience here. With music though, like if you play heavy metal but you also play acoustic, hey, merge that into the same thing, because like you guys, multiple of you said just now, you know, it's your channel. It's people want to know what you're all about, like what Time Prophet just said. So there's a lot of wisdom there. Frank mastered the art of air guitar. Yeah, Frank, you're gonna do good, man, because your heart is in it and it's something you really want to do. I don't know if you've seen my my metal guitar for beginners video. There's one metal guitar video, just that if you type in on my channel Jason Stallworth basic metal, you'll come up across a good video that really helps. Major upgrade. I like metal, but I like rock, pop, country, classical. Recently got into hardcore. Don't gatekeep. Hey, there you go. It's a universal language. That indeed it is. Yep, it's good to have that, and it's good to be honest with yourself too. Like if you like something, like a type of music you guys may be surprised that I like, and I don't listen to a lot of it these days, but in the past is the trance, the techno, the trance. And what I liked about that is all the keyboard, like the really ambient keyboard stuff they do in that music. And then you got bands like the Birthday Massacre, who I like a lot too. They're more of like a rock, almost like a gothic rock. It's not, I don't want to say dance, it's not dance, but kind of a gothic rock sound. A lot of heavy synth on there though, and I like that. Lita's, Lita Ford's guitars. I love some Lita Ford. She was amazing. Nosgoth, thank you for the super chat. I keep forgetting I have super chat on here, so now I know it works. Thank you, thank you, Nosgoth. And it's good to see you on here. I know it's been a while since I've done a live, but hey, thank you for the $5. No problem being late, man. Better late than never. Just happy to have you guys here. Mikey Mike says, love the videos and Metal Riff Master course. Oh, awesome. Thank you for that. And Mikey Mike's asking about the lead course. I've got a melodic soloing course coming out. I'm wrapping up my album, guys, here in the next, I'm giving myself 2 more weeks to have everything done, mixed and everything. So I'll have it in the hands of the producer that's going to be mastering the album, Nick Z. So it will be released in October. I'm going to immediately start working as I've got the release going for that, as that's getting, done. I'm going to immediately start working on the lead guitar course as well. So I'm behind. I'm probably about 2 months behind schedule on everything. So the lead course, that is probably looking towards the end of the year though, because my wife and I will be in Thailand for November. So December, what I'll probably do is create most of the course before we go, and in December I'll polish everything up, put it together, and either launch it in December or first of the year, one of the two. So I know that sounds like a long way away, but somebody told me when I was young, they said when you get old, time's going to go by a lot faster, and I'm sort of old now at 48. Time goes by quick, guys. Grant McKinley, thank you. Thank you for watching the channel. What are some quick guitar tips to write songs in the style of Metallica, Guns N' Roses? Really for that, I mean, on Metallica GNR, which I love both, and those different styles, but really the downstrokes is a lot of that, And in Guns N' Roses, they use some open chords a lot of times. In metal, we're playing a lot of but like in Guns N' Roses, you might have like how did that go? I was trying to play Paradise City and I forgot the chord. It's a G, C, and an F. And I don't even know if that's the right key. That might be in a complete. But my point though is a lot of the Guns N' Roses, they played some power chords, but they didn't play a lot. And I can't remember any Guns N' Roses song for the life of me. I haven't played that stuff in years. But yeah, I was playing Every Rose Has Its Thorn because I do that at my live solo shows. But Slash had a lot of like. He had a lot of right hand technique going into his playing, whereas Metallica is like. So there was a lot of fast, downstroke movement, and of course they did a lot of alternate picking as well. But the better is just to play along with some of that, some of that stuff. Because when I started playing, I was big into both those bands, man. So it's just funny you brought up Metallica and GNR. I started playing in '89. I think I heard Metallica first time in '88, '89. So Puppets and Justice were my first 2 cassettes, and I had the Appetite for Destruction. I think that was '86, same year, or '87. I can't quite remember. But that was all around the time I started playing, and then that whole thing was like the reason I started playing. So that was very cool stuff. Let's see, major upgrade. Who was hot? Who was hotter? '80s Lita Ford or Nita Strauss? Actually, I met Nita Strauss. I met her at Replay Guitar Exchange, where you guys will see the video, not with Nita Strauss, but you guys see a Replay Guitar Exchange video come out tomorrow on my channel going over the Amped 2. But I met her at a clinic she did at Replay Guitar Exchange here in Tampa. And actually, I've got a video out there, guys. If you look on my channel, Jason Stallworth, Nita Strauss, I didn't get to get her actually, talking in the video, but I filmed a little bit of her stuff and just kind of did a recap of some of the things that she went over. She had a lot of value to give, so it was a really good session. Thank you, Vance. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this album out, dude. I recorded this thing originally 2 years ago with a 7-string guitar. Got the drums done. Cameron Fleury out of Canada, he did the drums on this album again. And then I went back and re-recorded everything with a 6-string, which changed a lot of the songs. The 7-string, I just wasn't liking 100% what I had written, so I changed everything to it. So this album's gone through the ringer, man. I'll share the 7-string tracks in a future video after the release, though. Major upgrade, there's definitely no wrong answer. Yeah, Slash is, he's kind of bluesy. Beto Snow Metal. Why is Testament so different? Why Testament is different than everything else, I guess. Yeah, my personal opinion, I always thought that Testament should have been in the big four. You had Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. Me, and I'm not anti-Anthrax, but I just never really got into them. I would have rather seen, the big four be Testament in there instead of Anthrax. But that's just my opinion. That's not. If you're a hardcore Anthrax fan, I don't mean to offend you. But yeah, I've always loved Testament. I've seen them in concert as well. Good show. Yeah, I mean, all metal though, all the thrash metal is just really, it's really just a lot of downstrokes and palm muting. Riffs, downstrokes, and what I encourage you to do is take the concepts, right, but see what you can create. I wouldn't worry so much about trying to play a certain style, because what I've found about playing guitar is that I might have an idea of what I think I want to sound like for a song or on stage or whatever, but what actually comes out is something completely different. For a while I'm like, well, I sound like Nightwish because I love Nightwish, but I don't really sound anything like Nightwish. Now, if I played in a band like Nightwish, I think it would be great but Nightwish has just so many more elements. There are times when I might have wanted to sound more like a specific band, like, Exodus or Testament or something like that. And what's coming out might be similar, but it's okay. It's okay if you don't have that style. Really focus on developing your own style. Learn some of these songs and all that stuff, but when you learn a song, quickly branch out from it and start adding notes, start doing it your own way. And that helps you develop your own style of playing. Time Prophet, not a big fan of long beards, dude. I did grow my beard out a couple of times throughout my life, but it's itches. I don't like the whole food and the beard thing. It's not my thing, man. It looks cool on some people, but I just don't like it, dude. I keep mine. Actually, I got to trim it tomorrow because I just don't like it being too bushy, man. Megatod, what's up, dude? Thanks for being on. Major upgrade is Nita back. I don't think Nita's back with Alice Cooper. I could be wrong. I don't know. I thought that what's the guy's name? I can't. Kane. I thought Kane Roberts was back with Alice Cooper. I could be wrong about that because I know Nita kind of she had her stint with Alice Cooper and had a good run with him as well, on good terms and everything. But I think she went off to play with another band and do her solo thing as well. So Frank had the Appetite for Destruction cover of the cassette tape. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Time Prophet, what about Venom? I think you meant to say Venom, right? I've listened to a little bit of Venom. I mean, that's like the first. Yeah, okay, I see your comment now. That's like the first black metal band, right? So, Kristen says, yeah, just gave up on the big beard. I want the look, but honestly, every meal ended up stuck in it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. No food in the beard for me. And if I see somebody with food in their beard, it kind of, I get a little queasy. I'm like, I just don't know. No. But yeah, beards look cool on some people, but it was just too much maintenance. And I have like kind of skin issues anyway, so sometimes I'll get flaky dandruff, and even with a beard like it is now. But I'm at a point in life where I don't want to have to maintain much of anything. And I already have to maintain too much as it is. So if it requires any more maintenance than what I'm doing now, nope, it's not happening. Let's rip out some metal tunes. Guys, we'll hang out for another few minutes here, so keep the questions coming, man. Alright, had to get that out of the system. So, good question, Megatod. Tubes versus going all digital. What I'm playing through right now, and I can't reach behind there, but it's the Black Star Amp 3. Right now, so this isn't tube, but it is kind of hardware plus digital, because I'm playing through the Black Star Amped series. They're actually real amplifiers in a little box. You'll see the Amp 2 on my YouTube channel tomorrow. And but they're a real amplifier. Like, you can, connect it to a cabinet, and it's a 100-watt powered amp. You can go down to 20, you can go down to 1 watt as well. So in this case, though, you hear it coming through my studio speakers. Well, I've got the amp going through my studio, which allows me to use the Black Star Architect software, which is, they call it their cab rig software. So you're hearing a real amplifier, not tube, solid state amplifier. It does have the tube response. You can go EL34, which is what it's on, 6L6 and EL84. But I've got it running through my studio using their cab rig software. So best of both worlds kind of thing. Now tomorrow, when you hear me playing the Amped 2 and Replay Guitar Exchange, I've actually got it connected to a Marshall 112 cab, and I have it mic'd up. I think we had it mic'd. The store had like a Shure SM57 or the Beta 57 mic, so we got that. It sounds really good, man. Really, really good. Let's see. So yeah, but now to answer your question though, my tube amp, my EVH 5153, I'm gonna want to play through that over pretty much everything. The tube amp, I don't know. It depends on the situation too. For recording, I'll tell you this: when I record rhythm guitars, I want my tube amp. When I'm recording solos, I would rather play probably through an amp sim or something like the Amp 3, because I record solos so much. I'll record 100 takes before I get what I want. So I don't want to do that with a blaring amp. I would get real tired of doing that. So, but it just depends, man. They're all good though. I mean, the way technology is these days, I think it's more about the feel, like, because the end product, once you mix it down and once it goes through the process and all that, you're really not going to be able to tell the difference these days. And even if you can tell the difference, do you really care? Like, it's not like, well, this sounds so much better than that, in the overall mix. But I think it's more of like a feel when you're playing. Like, this feels pretty good. This feels the Amp 3. I wish I could give the feeling through the video here, but that feels like an amp, Okay, and if I crank it up, now, again, I'm coming out through the studio monitor, so I'm not getting the same push that I would get through an amp. If I connected this thing through a cab, I get a different push, right? I get the cab push. So, Mark says, Jason, when using the Ditto X4 Live, is it hard to stop one loop while letting the other play? Not really, man. I don't. So Mark's asking about a very specific looper pedal I use called the Ditto X4, because you can do 2 loops. I don't typically do 2 loops. The only reason I bought that pedal was to have a dedicated stop. In other words, guys, when I loop, like I'll play a rhythm on acoustic, and I'll click the button, and that will loop, right? So what that allows me to do is I'll then pick up the electric guitar and play over that acoustic loop. And Mark, that's really the extent I use it. I don't, and then when I want to stop the loop, right? So I'll then put the electric down, pick up my acoustic, start playing the rhythm, and just click the stop button to stop the loop. The original Ditto pedal, you had to click twice to stop, and that would screw me up. And then you had to hold it down to delete it. So if you're ending the song's over, then you got to hold the button down to delete it. Well, it'll actually play the loop real quick before it deletes. I'm like, no, that's not what I want, because the audience hears that. So the X4, really I should have gotten the X2, but Replay Guitar Exchange had the X4, had a good deal on it. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go with this. So that's what I did. But anyway, so yeah, I don't, I just haven't really used it too much beyond that, man, to be honest with you. Marshall, the Podgo. The Podgo's great, guys. I still use the Podgo for my live solo gigs. Because it's just easy. I have my acoustic settings on there, and I have my electric settings on there right there in one bay. So like I said, if I want to loop an acoustic rhythm, I can do that. Pick up the electric, exchange my wireless to the other guitar, and then click on the Podgo to my electric patch, and I can solo over it, and then reverse all that when it goes back to when it goes back to the acoustic stuff. Major upgrade selling the Fender Blues Deluxe in favor of the Podgo and the Fender GTX. Yeah, I mean, the Fender Blues Deluxe is great, but with the Podgo and then the Fender GTX, you just got more sounds, man. You got more stuff to do stuff with, Fender Blues Deluxe, kind of a one-trick pony, unless you want to buy a bunch of pedals, but then you might as well just get the Podgo or the Fender GTX. Yeah, Vance, dude, yeah, it's funny you bring that up. You had the same conversation about Testament being in the Big Four instead of Anthrax countless times. And I don't mean to, I'm not saying anything bad about Anthrax. I just never could really get into Anthrax as much as the other 3, Slayer, Megadeth, Metallica. And Testament to me was right there. I mean, you could say Exodus should have been a part of that as well. But Testament, I think, would have fit perfectly in the Big Four. Many conversations about that, man. Trig, what's up, man? Any cheap Floyd Rose guitar out there? Man, I honestly don't recommend getting a guitar that's $300. Not new anyway. If all you have to spend is $300, first of all, and you may already be looking for this, but go pre-owned. If it were me, I'd try to save up about $500 or $600. I'd try to double that. Just work hard, man, and double that, and then go get a really good Ibanez that's used, or a LTD, Ibanez or LTD or Jackson or something like that. You can pick a used any one of those guitars up for probably $500-600. So if it were me, I'd save up a little bit more and get something good. The Jackson, yes, the Jackson's great. Time Prophet. I don't use the looper on the Podgo. And the reason is because when I'm playing my live solo shows, I want less clicking, less foot clicking that I have to do on stage. So having an external looper allows me just to focus on click, that's the loop. Whereas if I'm going to do it on the Podgo, I've got to go to that effect, which means I got to change bass, because right now on my Podgo I've got acoustic rhythm, acoustic lead, clean lead, distorted lead, right? So I've got all those right there readily available. But if I were going to go into looper, I'd have to change the function for that channel to go into the looper, then do more clicks, to turn it on. So it's like, that's why I just hook up an external looper to it. It just makes things so much easier. Yeah, Schecter too. Schecters I haven't played many Schecters, but I've never really heard anything bad about them. Beta Snow Metal, I think Actual Metal lost the feeling, has become too technical. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I've had this conversation countless times with folks. If you like technical metal, and that's what people like, then it's great. But I think, for me, I'll just say for me, I can't speak for anyone else. I'm not really interested in doing a gazillion sweep arpeggios up and down the neck, even like Malmsteen does. I'm not interested in doing any of that, and I can't. I don't practice it that much, you know. So, because what happens is you become an Instagram guitar player. Like you'll do a video, and that's really all it's good for. You have to step back away from that, away from the visual, and just listen and ask yourself, does this guitar solo sound good with the music, with the rhythm that I'm playing it to? So sometimes the shred may sound great, sometimes not though, right? So you're like, what's best for, I always like to ask myself, what's best for the song? There's one song, it's kind of a really dark, doom, deathy metal track that's unlike any other track on this new album. There's always one like, you know, weirdo in there, and this is the one. It is called The Damned. And there's only one very short guitar solo in the beginning of the song. This song doesn't have the typical structure. And it reminds me of, and I wasn't trying to be like this, but it reminds me of the guitar solo in Ghost Love Score by Nightwish, when Impu does that real simple solo. And it's all just a real simple series of notes, just a very melodic piece. And if you were to hear me play this guitar, if you've never heard me play before and you hear this solo that I'm playing in the song, you'd be like, okay, that guy must not be that great. But it's what the song calls for, you know? So I like to drop the ego and like, okay, I don't need to shred every single note, every single song, you know? So just do what's best for the song in regards to metal being technical. I think a lot of it too has to do with things like auto-tune and you know, I had a conversation with an engineer a couple of weeks ago about this, about, you know, Nick Z. From an engineer's perspective, someone who mixes, I get it. There's an art to that, of perfecting what's not perfect. There's an art to that. There's their job, you know. But I was telling him, I'm like, I'm not putting auto-tune on my voice. I'm just not going to do it, man. I mean, I'll live, if it's that off key, well, I need to re-record that vocal track. And he was explaining to me like that everybody uses it now, even the best of singers out there. I'm like, I just don't want to use it, you know. And people will play the drums in MIDI and I got to move it to be perfect. To me, my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right, but I think music has lost its human feel, like the true nature of music, because we're perfecting everything in the studio. And I understand, you know, polishing things up here and there, but I just don't want to, I don't know, I choose not to use it. When Cameron recorded the drums for both albums of mine, he didn't use MIDI or anything. I'm just getting his raw drum tracks, you know. I mean, he mixed them for me, but I'm just getting his raw drum tracks. They're not perfect. Like if you were just going to sit back and be overly critical about the drums, he's great, he's amazing, but there are some spots in there that are just slightly off. To me, that gives it more of a human feel. And my vocals, are they going to be perfect, every like pitch perfect every note? I will tell you right now, no, they will not be, because I sing on key. I mean, I do this live 2 to 4 times a week, right? And I can sing on key just fine, you know. But there will be some imperfections, and I'll live with those, and I'll just be part of the soul of the album. So I think when a lot of people say, well, metal and music in general just kind of all sounds the same, I think that's why, because we're moving everything around in the studio so it's just perfect, and we lose the human element. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not saying people have to agree with me. That's just my perspective, you know. Russell has a question about what's the difference between single and double humbucker pickups. The humbucker pickups, the two here are going to be hotter. They're going to give you a little bit more gain, a little bit more sustain, and that sort of thing. The single coil will oftentimes give you that stratty sound, that really clean sound. And some of you might have a better answer to that, so please, please chime in. Cinemas, a question, when did you know that you were ready to play music with other people in a jam setting? Dude, I started doing it right when I started playing. I started playing in church right away. I had to learn bar chords too right away, because, you know, all the gospel hymns were in like the keys of B flat and E flat. So I was playing like, you know, E flat and B flat and all that, right? So I just jumped in there. I just started right away. my biggest advice is learn and play as much as you can, but don't ever let yourself overthink. Just get out there and do it, man. Jam with whoever you can jam with, because you're building a different skill. Whiskey Mike, my brother Whiskey Mike is on. Good to see you, man. Time Prophet didn't like Anthrax after the rap thing. Yeah, I've never been a rap fan. I think I went through a small rap phase when I was younger, but it wasn't really. Mega Todd, thank you for the super chat, dude. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You're asking about sweet picking. If Google Sweet Picking Master by Alfred Potter. He's got a course on sweet picking. He's a lot better at it. I mean, I'm okay at it. I'm not somebody that sweet picks up and down the neck, but I mean, I can, I don't know if you guys can see that. I mean, I can do it, but I'm not great at it. A lot of times I'll just stick with the 3-note pattern, just, and I'll throw in some other stuff or whatever. I'm goofing off, but I'm not the master at that. But look up Sweet Picking Master by Alfred Potter. That course is actually on the platform I co-own called Metal Mastermind, and I need to go through this course again, by the way, because I've got it. Because again, that's just not a technique I practice so much. I got to brush up on that because my lead course is coming out soon. Advanced good advice on the Floyd Rose. Yeah, the cheap stuff will not work right. Thank you, Major Upgrade, for stopping in, man. Time Prophet, yeah. If the looper was kind of segregated on the Pod Go, that would be great. Michael Angelo Batio says it's better to have the speed and not use it because you can. Yeah, that's a good point. It's better to have the skill and you can just pull it out at any time. Have it. But I think sometimes people will overdo stuff on guitar. Guys, I want you guys to like my music. I really do. But I would much rather someone love the song and what the song is about, the progressions, just the impact of the song as a whole, than to love my singled out guitar parts. I'm in it for the song. The guitar solo is great, but I'm not writing a guitar solo to impress other guitar players. This is just how I play, Somebody could come do it faster than me. Okay, great. But nobody's ever going to be able to do exactly what you do the way you do it, because it's you. So, and yeah, no auto-tune in the voice, guys. Yeah, making perfect music. It just, like if you're in a techno band, right, or a trance or dance or something like that, or I guess even pop where everything is just synchronized perfectly. Okay, maybe you use things to perfect everything. That's usually a drum machine anyway. So, but for rock and roll and heavy metal and whatever, maybe industrial metal, I can see wanting the drums just perfect. I don't know. I just don't. I'm not going to use any of those tools. Like I said, Cameron's recorded the drums already. I don't care to perfect anything, to move them around. To me, the imperfections are what makes it perfect. Because it gives it life. So. Oscar, tips on creating death metal. Dude, look up death metal on my channel. I've got a lot of videos out there on that style, man. Some death and black metal as well. Time Prophet says D. Snyder from Twisted Singer started singing in church. Yeah, a lot of people started in church, man. King's X, Doug Pennick, he started singing in church. Time Prophet, you can do sweet picking. It's just something you gotta want to do bad enough to work on, man. I mean, like I said, I'm not great at it. I mean, I can do it, but I've got it in my back pocket to whip out when I want to whip it out, but I practice it just enough to be able to do that. But it's all in what you want, It's really all in what you want. Electric Angel, what am I studying these days? That's a good question, man. I am actually, I try to read a book a month. I'd love to say I read a book a week, but that does not happen. I just finished reading Dean Grazioli's book, The Mindset of a Millionaire, and that was a really good book. I know sometimes books with the word millionaire, it can kind of throw you off. It's like one of those books, but Dean Graziosi is a phenomenal author, and the way he writes really speaks to me. So it's a really good book. Learned a lot of good stuff in there. Being an entrepreneur, working for myself, doing this, full time, I got to stay up to speed mentally and learning. But right now, I'm also reading a book called "Eat to Beat Your Diet," and I'm not dieting. I'm reading this more from the health perspective by Dr. William Liu. He's the same author as "Eat to Beat Disease," which he talks even more about in this book. So I'm learning a lot about different foods that we can eat that will keep the cancer cells that we have in our body at bay, like keep them from becoming active, and certain things we can do with stress levels as well, but mainly in our diet. And me, I'm a firm believer in exercise. I'm not going to go deep into this, guys, but that's what I'm reading now. I'm constantly studying the Thai language as well. To my Thai friends, family, sawadee krap, sawadee mai nakap. So hope you guys are doing well. But that's a language I've been studying for years. I'm not even close to mastering it. I'm like beginner intermediate at best. I can read and write a little bit of Thai. So that's something I'm going to study more of. But that's kind of what I'm studying right now. I need to learn a little bit more German than what I know, because we're going to be in Germany for a very short time later this year. Great point about soloing. Yeah, Vance. Yeah, I mean, and I love finger tapping. Like finger tapping, it looks cool when I'm doing solo gigs. I've gotten to where I'll slide the fingers a little bit. Nothing too complicated. Just ridiculous stuff like that. But I'm hearing stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on up here? What's in my head? How do I translate that down here? Now, so, and as I'm doing that, I'm not really trying to look cool, though it probably looks cool to some people, or whatever. But a lot of times when I'm playing my live solo gigs, there's people just hear it. They don't necessarily see me because they're sitting all over the place, and it sounds good to them, hopefully anyway. and of course I know when there's a guitar player or two out there, because then they'll come up and talk to me. So, but the thing is, and Vance, this is a very good point you just brought up. Great point about soloing sounding good as opposed to sounding cool. A lot of people that listen to your music, they're not necessarily going to be musicians. They're not necessarily going to be guitar players. So you got to ask yourself, who are you writing music for? Who are you? Are you writing music, or are you playing guitar just to impress other musicians, or are you focused more on the song itself and wanting people just to enjoy the music? So there's a little bit of a difference there. A lot of times if you're playing just to impress other musicians, non-musicians, they're just not going to get it. And because you're being so technical, they may think like, that just sounds like a bunch of gibberish, man. You're just playing a bunch of notes, right? So you kind of have to be careful with that. If you want to impress other guitar players, do all the technical stuff. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, Well, yeah, Ghost Love Score. I love that song by Nightwish, dude. Yeah, I love Floor Jansen's voice. I love her voice, man. She is my favorite Nightwish vocalist, and I don't no disrespect to Tarja or Annette or anyone else, but I like Floor's voice, her persona, everything. I think she's a really good. I hate that Marco left the band. I think he's doing some stuff, some other projects though now, because I always thought his backup vocals were just amazing. He did some backup vocals for Delane as well. Frank says Led Zeppelin didn't write songs that everybody liked. They left that up to the Bee Gees. Bilbs, this is my go-to guitar, man. My Ibanez Prestige RG 1570. I think it's 2001 or 2002 model. This has been it. So still got the original stock pickups in here, man. Johnny, enjoy guitar, bass, and travel. I love all that, dude. That's good stuff. Thank you, brother. I appreciate your comment, man. Thank you for that. Russell got here a little late. So the lyrical themes in the new album, Russell, are it's called Overcometh, and it really is just that's the theme of it, just overcoming, not anything specific, but really overcoming yourself and your mind in a lot of ways. So that's kind of the theme of the album. So I think you guys enjoy it, man. Like I said, I hope people enjoy the songs more than the solos or rhythms or guitar parts or even the vocals. I hope just the song as a whole is really what I'm looking and hoping that people like. Zoom in. What's your squat 1 rep max, dude? I have not done a 1 rep max in a long time. These days, I'm 48 years old, man. My training has slowed down in regards to, especially with heavy weights, in regards to rep speed. So lately, I've been focused on really controlled movements. I do squat still, and I rarely will I go past 315 these days. I mean, in the past, I don't know my max in the past, to be honest with you. I never broke 500. I can tell you that. I never got anywhere close. Maybe like 455 or something. I don't know, but I was never. It's a good question. I was never super strong. I was never. I guess I was strong in my own right, man, stronger than the average person. Probably still very much stronger than the average person, especially my age. But I never really trained as a power lifter. It's one thing I would change if I could go back in time and start my training routine at 14, 15 years old. I would have started powerlifting because a lot of people built their base off that, the first few years and just focusing on the heavy movements. I started more of a typical bodybuilding style training, back in the day. Now, I also suffered a pinched nerve about 2.5 years ago. May was a 2-year anniversary of the pinched nerve, and that just zapped the left side of my body, man. It deteriorated the muscle tissue in my left tricep and pec and the lat. So I'm sort of back to normal now. I'm still a little disproportionate. This shoulder worked harder than this one, and this chest is a little bit flatter, this pec. So I had to recover from that. But training's something I'll always do for my entire life. I even injured, even when I was injured with this nerve damage, I still went in and did cardio. I trained legs. I did what I could, But squats are good for you, man. I love squats. It's probably my favorite exercise, man. I really don't have any reason to go over 315 these days, though. I'll usually do a set of warm up with the bar, then 135, and I'll 10 reps with 225. I'll try to hit 8 or 10 with 275. Then I'll go 315. I might go a little bit higher than that, but I don't go super heavy anymore. Time Prophet says even Def Leppard quantizes their drums. Yeah. I think in their situation, man, especially with Hysteria, with their drummer losing his arm, I think he was using an electronic set at that point. So I think for Hysteria and then on, they did some. I don't know if they use samples, but you can use effects. I'm not opposed to using effects on things. If you've got a snare that's hitting right here and you want that reverse snare, they did that in Poison too. Nothing but a good time. It's a real cool sound. So I'm not against using studio effects at all. I just don't like the idea of like, well, it's not quite perfect, so let's move this. Now let's move that, and you just end up moving almost every every drum beat on the record, and the whole auto tune thing. And it's just not for me. It's not something I want on my record, Skull Productions is here. What's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Love the gear videos. Thank you. Yeah, Red Beach. I love Red Beach's playing, man. Winger really got a bad rap. I think Beavis and Butt had something to do with that because they made Stewart wear the Winger shirt, and that. Man, Winger is actually a good band, dude. I like their stuff, Russell, I have heard of After Forever. I like After Forever a lot. Usually my iTunes that I listen to in the gym, I'll create a station based on Delane. I think I've got Delane. I love their Apocalypse and Chill album. I'm not a fan of the name or the cover of the album, but the album is good. And Chemical Redemption, that's a really cool song on that album. Really cool. So I just plug that in and just create a station based on that, and stuff like After Forever and Nightwish and all these other bands come up. Electric Angel, never heard of Syndrome. No. I'll have to check that out. Morb 357 has the Ibanez SA Hot Rider Strat. Good stuff, man. Catching up here, guys. Push-ups are good for you, Time Prophet. Any activity is good for you, man. Yeah, we can still clear the room, man. Zoom in's competing. That's good, man. That's awesome. Zoom in. Yeah, keep doing that, man. That's the best thing you can do, man. I think weights, I made a lot of not so great decisions and all throughout my 20s and went through some rough times that I put myself through. But weight training was, I think, the one thing that kept me from going completely over the edge in certain times in my life. And it's just always something that I've relied on, as part of you. And Zoom in, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're 34. You got a lot of good years ahead of you, man. And and if it had not been for the nerve damage, and when I was what was I 46 at the time? I'm 48 now. So, because I was getting up there in strength too, in my own right. But no, keep doing that. Keep powerlifting, man. That's great. I always admire people that just had that, and I think powerlifting, you kind of have to have that, Yes, I did see a massage therapist. I had a sports massage, a extremely professional sports massage therapist during that time. Oh, that was painful, man, very painful massage. And I was seeing a chiropractor and all that. I probably should have seen like an orthopedic surgeon at that time, but it's the one thing I started doing that helped with pain, because it was super painful, like I couldn't sleep, could barely move. The one thing that helped was taking alpha lipoic acid, ALA, because that provides oxygen to the nerve endings. And if only I knew that sooner, I probably would have covered a lot faster. Do I plan on giving backing tracks to practice too, and maybe give us the route you would take? Yeah, so the builds I have backing tracks for my Patreon. I have, if you just look up my name on Patreon, you'll find me, or go to a link in the description, YouTube description, any of the videos. I think it's $4.95 a month for Patreon. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys, but I give backing tracks and tabs to at least 2 of my lessons, YouTube lessons each month. I'm aiming to do more than that, but I promise 2. So it's more like I under promise and over deliver as usual. But yeah, I got plenty of backing tracks, man. Well, guys, I am going to wrap things up. I'm going to get to bed pretty soon. We're talking about lifting here. I got the gym early in the morning, so I got to go do that tomorrow morning early, and filming the Metal Mastermind podcast tomorrow. So we always film those a week or 2 in advance. If you didn't check out the last, by the way, if you listen to podcasts, go on iTunes, Spotify, whatever podcast you go to, look up Metal Mastermind, and you'll see the podcast on there. Good show that Ken and I put on for you guys there. A lot of good content in there. I do have a video coming out, actually a video tomorrow and Saturday. So tomorrow a video will be coming out on the Amp 2 that I got to play at Replay Guitar Exchange today. Saturday's video will be another lesson, and that will be on YouTube, but my Patreon supporters, you guys will get backing tracks and tabs to that. So that's coming out. So those are coming out, and like I said, next Monday I record vocals at Cliff Studio for my new album. I have the photo shoot for my new album and artwork getting started on Wednesday. So all this stuff is scheduled, and I'll be cleaning up some other stuff, some of the bass tracks and such. And the week after that, it will be mixed and sent off for mastering. So we're hoping for a really solid early October release with this thing, guys. Guys, I'm going to take off. I hope you guys have an awesome evening and awesome rest of the week. We will chat again very soon. Keep it metal, guys.